Well, hello there, folks. How's it going? I hope you guys are all doing really good today. Well, I'm back out in the shop here, tinkering on this guitar a little bit more. I've been working on this one for a day or two here, when I've just here and there when I've had time. This one came in with a broken neck. Not the headstock. It was actually the heel that broke. And it broke pretty good. It broke this whole section out right here. And it took a little bit to get it back together. I had to actually remove this piece. You can see it in my other video how I did it. I've got it glued back together and smoothed back out. It looks really good, and I think it's going to hold great. So there's a few things we're going to do before we reassemble the guitar. One thing I'm going to do, where I've re-glued this piece back on, I've got this little tool here. It's like a screwdriver, but it's almost like a screw, okay? And it's just the right size for these holes in the neck here, where you're going to bolt your neck to, and where your screws will end up when they go through the body into here. So, what I'm doing here is just trying to clean out some of that glue. Yeah, I just pulled a big chunk out of it. See that? And that way my screws are going to go in there right. I don't want a bunch of stuff in the hole, especially where this broke, because what can happen is when I actually put the screw in here, if there's stuff inside the hole, it has nowhere to go, and it can actually spread the hole and make this break again. So I'm not going to take any precautions. I'm going to go over at least these two holes. These ones are a little bit bigger. These ones feel a lot better to me. Again, these may be stripped out. I haven't really check this all out yet. I think they're okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Yep, those will be good. These ones will be pretty snug. So again, that's what I want to do. I want to try to clean some of this stuff out of here so the screws don't go in there too tight, and we don't want to break them off inside the neck either. If it's too tight, you run the risk of that too, and that's no good. Nobody wants to deal with that, trying to dig a screw out of there that's broke. That's a long process, guys. Okay. I think we're going to be pretty good with that. This little thing's handy. I've had this for quite a while. That's really the only thing I use it for is this, but it works quite well. Okay, so I think what we're going to do now is look this fretboard over a little bit. It looks okay. It's really dirty for sure. So I think what we will do is get the fret rocker out before I go too far here, and let's just check these out. They are worn pretty bad. It's not going to be long before this is going to need a fret job, but I just want to check and see if there's any high frets. I got one right here. So I think what we'll do is we'll just put a mark on it, and I'll come back to it in a second and we'll take care of it. There's another one. So I'm just spanning 3 frets here at a time. You guys have probably seen me do this many times. There's another high one right here on the edge. So what I'll probably end up doing is, yeah, that's high too. I'm going to tap these down with a hammer first. That'll be something I'll try first. And another high one here. If they don't go down, from just tapping them, then we're going to have to level these, which there's not a lot left to level here. So another high one here. Usually this is where I run into a lot of high fret problems, is down past the 12th fret. There's another one. Yep. Again, like I said, we're going to try to drive them down, but I don't know if that's going to work with these. They could have been bad right from day one. I don't know. This guitar has seen a lot of things in its day, so, well, I don't think that's too bad. So I think what we're going to do is just, I think I'll go over this lightly with a sanding beam real quick, and then I'm just going to recrown them. But first, I think what I'll do is try pounding them down. And if that don't work, we're going to probably do the routine with the sanding beam. So I'm going to grab them both, and let's just see if I can pound any of these back. Yeah, okay, so that one went down. That's good. Let's just, yeah, that one did too. Okay, that one's quite high here. Let's see if that helped. Well, you know, it did some. Okay, so I think I'm going to do now is just go over all these really quick and tap them down. Okay. Okay, 5 apiece on every fret. If you guys were counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's about what it takes me to get across them. Okay, so that's a lot better. Let me check some of these ones that I marked. That one's still up just a little bit. It did help though. So, you know, if you guys have a fret hammer, it's good to have one just for this, okay? This won't dent the fret wire or damage it either, so, you know, if you got frets that are lifting on your guitar, it's not a bad idea to try this first. This is usually the first thing I go to is, you know, to see if I can pound them back down. Now the edges don't feel too bad. They're a little sharp up here. It's not a huge deal. Again, I'm just going to go down through these really quick. Yeah, that took care of most of it. Took care of all of it, I think. So, you know, this is probably dried out. The frets have lifted over time, and it's probably been like that for a while. So we're not going to use the sanding beam at this point. We don't need to. But what we are going to do is recrown these really quick, because they do have some significant wear and divots. And this will help some. It'll at least buy him some time until he needs to refret the guitar completely. You know, you might as well play them until they're done, you know. And these frets, once they get worn down some, that's really when they feel good, you know what I mean? But they don't last that long, that's the problem. So this will, like I said, it'll at least buy him a little bit of time, and he won't have to do a fret job right now. They're not to that point, but they're getting close, so. yeah, that's it's taking a little bit of it out. I mean, I know I'm not going to get it all out, but if I can get some of it out, it will help from, you know, your strings almost like like you get a buzz from a string that's sitting really flat in the knot slot. They need to be angled and almost like a crown would be, because if the fret is flat, you know, it's gonna buzz. It's just what it is. It needs to have a crown to it like that, so your string, when it contacts the fret wires, just hitting on the very top of the crown, and that's what gives you the nice clean note. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna work on these down here a little bit more than the rest of them. And I think I can get some of this out. Like I said, he should be good to go for a little while. There's still quite a bit of fret there. You know, there's probably 40 thousandths left at least in that area, maybe low 40s, but I didn't measure them or anything. I can just kind of tell, really, but alright, so we'll get those recrowned. The rest of them up here aren't too bad, so we won't have to spend a ton of time down here. But I can just see the top of the fret wire starting to get a shine to it. That's really all you look for, you know. Now this is going to leave striations in the fret wire too from this file, so we'll have to polish these up. I'll get some micro mesh out here in a minute. We'll use that, and I got some fret erasers, and I use a combination of a few things. Usually micro mesh and fret erasers on the list. I usually start out with that, usually micro mesh, and then I'll finish up with the erasers, but we'll get to that in a second. I'm glad these weren't bad, because I really can't be doing much of this stuff right now until I figure out what's going on with this carpal tunnel stuff. But I'm still doing it, you know. You gotta keep the home fires burning. That's got some pretty good dings in these frets. Maybe that was part of the accident when it dropped. I don't know. Definitely hit something. Something hit it. Okay. Now that's, yeah, those are quite a lot better. I'm going to try it on this one a little bit more. Yeah, not bad. When I get this all back together, I'm gonna do a demo of this guitar and the amplifier that belongs to the same guy. I did play the amp today. I fixed it and I played it. I didn't do a sound test video or anything on it, but it's a cool little amp. It really is. You guys are gonna like this. Okay, so I think now I'm going to just clean up some of these sharp ends here with a file. They're not horrible, but I don't like feeling that stuff. I don't like sending guitars out the door that feel like that either. So I'm just using a mill file here, a little flat file. Really easy pressure. I want to feel that file drag on the high frets, you know, the ones that are sticking up, and you will. Sometimes it'll stop you right up short when you hit them. They're really sticking out, some of them. Okay. That's better. I'm going to do a little bit more down here. These ones are still kind of sticking out a little bit. Not bad, but I'm sure this has reached its driest point that it'll ever see. So usually if you can, once they dry out and they've hit their, rock bottom or what have you, they'll usually kind of stay that way, and you won't have any fret wire sticking out anymore. Once you get it, and once they dry out and you file the ends off, you may have to do it a few times, over time, but eventually they'll reach a point where they won't really stick out anymore from being, the wood shrinking. Okay, we still got some more here that feel pretty sharp, so this is the stuff that gets your wrists and your hands right here. But I do it by hand. It's the only way I do it. It's all kind of a feel and a touch when you do this. And yeah, I got some pretty good sharp ones back there. Right there. A couple up here. Okay, so we're getting pretty close here now. That feels quite a bit better. Alright, so I'm going to get some micro mesh out now. And I'm going to just clean these up and shine them up. This is what I'm talking about. Micro mesh pads, okay? They're like foam. This one's 3,000 grit. There's a 600 grit one. I mean, they go up to tens of thousands of grit. And they work really, really well for this stuff. So I'm going to start with probably like 1,000 here, okay? And what I like to do is basically get it so it's sitting on two frets. Really, really light touch here. I mean a really light touch. I don't want to remove much. And I don't want to flatten the fret out. I just want to kind of take the file marks out of the striations, okay? And you'll notice that I'm kind of, it's probably tough to see it, but I'm bending this like this, really easy. Again, over these two frets, I'm just kind of touching the edges here. Not trying to get into the wood, I'm just trying to very lightly get the sharp edges off. And I'll do this with a safe file, a small file in a minute. We'll whip all the ends off and take care of it. But I did get most of the divots out of these first few frets, so this should feel pretty good to him and play pretty good here when he gets it back. Okay, so again, I'm just looking for that nice shine, and just to remove those file marks. That's it. We're just polishing these from here, so that's all we want to do. Just really light, like I said, and that way we're not going to flatten the fret wire off. Okay, we want to keep that crown nice. So, slow and steady wins the race, guys. And I'm doing it right in real time for you. Not going to edit this. I'm just going to keep going until I get it done. So, if you guys want to stick along for the ride, you're more than welcome. I was really pretty happy with the way the neck repair came out on this. It was the first time I'd ever performed a heel repair. And, I've done a bunch of headstock repairs, and those are you know, I haven't found one that I couldn't fix yet. I mean, I just fixed one that was missing a headstock, and I made a headstock for it, so, and kind of grafted it back onto a neck that looked like a Steinberger when it showed up, you know what I mean? So, you know, you can get most of them. You just gotta take your time, and it might take some thought to, you know, on how you're gonna reattach it. That was really the toughest part. It wasn't really the work. It was just, how am I gonna make this work, you know, and stay on there? So again, I'm just taking this and just lightly hitting the very ends of the fret wire. Okay, so that's starting to smooth things out pretty good too. Excuse me. Another thing you can do is take a crown and file and just touch the edges with it like this, and you're not going to feel anything until you get over the edge, and that will just kind of take the little sharp corners off the fret wire. I've used this method a lot too. I've used multiple methods until I get it exactly right, but okay, so that works quite well. I'm going to just hit these a little bit, really lightly, like I said, and we don't want to remove much. We just want to take the very sharp corners off the bottom of the fret wire that's poking out. Okay, that feels a lot better. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to take, let's go to 3000 grit, okay, and same kind of thing. We're just going to span a couple frets, try not to hit the wood. We're not looking to sand the wood or anything. Now, if I just step over one fret at a time like this, what I'll do is I'll put more pressure on the leading edge of the sanding thing here. I can't even remember what you call them now. What do I call these things? Anyway, micro mesh, that's it. My mind's not working well tonight. So, yeah, I just kind of keep more pressure on one side, you know, but I still want this to be riding on the other fret wire and not scratching up the fretboard. In this case, it's not really a big deal, but the fretboard's, you know, it's got some pretty good dings and dents and that kind of stuff. Now, when I get up here, I'll just start spanning 3 at a time, and I'll put equal pressure across all 3 of these, okay? And I just kind of go until you'll feel some resistance on the fret wire at first. And I just kind of go until it kind of starts to feel smooth again. And that's usually enough. Okay, so let's go to, let's see what I get out here. I got some really fine stuff here. That's not MAC. That's probably like 8,000. Let's go with that. Okay, so these ones are starting to get worn pretty good too. So they work just for shine really now, but okay. Yeah, that looks right. Now that's what I'm after, is this kind of a nice shine here. Just looks like chrome when you're done. And, you know, believe it or not, folks, this will change the way your guitar plays. It will change the way your guitar sounds. So when you when you change your strings, you know, it's not a bad idea to get some of this stuff, or some fret erasers. I've got some of those right here. We're going to get those out next. These are fret erasers, and they just basically look like, you know, an eraser. That's what they feel like, and they come in different grits. Okay. They're marked. Eventually that gets worn off, but you can kind of feel the grit in each one. So, you know, those will be used like this, same thing. And it's just to polish. It's really not to remove anything. And it's just to take some subtle little dings or whatever out. And it just gets that, when you play your guitar, the frets get coated with, you know, stuff from your hands and oils and gunk and dirt. And it does kind of hamper the sound a little bit. And it just feels odd. Everything feels dry, kind of sticky. So when you change your strings, if you have some of this stuff or some fret erasers, just lightly go over your frets like this. And when you restring your guitar and play it, you're going to notice that the notes bend easier. Everything just works better. You'll have a lot more clarity in the notes even. I mean, I know guys are probably going to say I'm crazy, but it's a real thing. So, again, I'm just going to go over this till I get these so they look really shiny like a mirror. And then I do this. I usually give them the fingernail test. I'll just rub my fingernail down across there, okay? If you feel a nick or anything obstructing your fingernail, then, you know, you need to address it a little more. And why I say that, because I'm basically simulating what's going to happen when you bend a string, okay? And when you bend a string, if there's a nick there or a notch, you're going to feel it. It's also going to mess with your string. Now, I just felt one right here, so I'm going to take some 3000 and touch that one up. Okay, it's gone. Another one right here. Again, I'm just going to take some 3000 and hit the bottom side, the treble side, you know, of this, these last ones. So, them all feel pretty decent. Right there, I still feel a nick. I can kind of see it too. So, I'm just going to lightly kind of touch that. Nope, I still didn't get it. So what I'm going to do is take my crowning file, see if I can crown it out. Well, let's see. Yeah, we got a, okay, so everything's looking pretty good here. Cleaned up nice. They all feel really good, and no nicks and dings in them. The edges feel good. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to take a fret eraser. This is a fine grit one, the one I'm using here. I don't know what the grit is. I can't read it anymore, but it's not the coarse ones. A lot of these ones I have here are pretty coarse. This one in my hand is probably the one of the finer ones, and this one as well. So I'll probably use this one next, and just go down through and make them shine. That's it. There really isn't much technique involved. Just push down, and again, I try to span a few frets. You can do just one fret if you'd like to. Any way you want to do it, folks. Whatever works good for you. I'm just trying to share my techniques, how I go about it, and hopefully it'll help some of you guys out that have never done it or thinking about doing it. Nobody taught me how to do this stuff, guys. I just kind of taught myself. And, you know, I've performed a lot harder things in life than this, so it can be done. It does take some patience, though, and there's no hurrying with this stuff. You just gotta Just take your time. Don't try, and that, you know, that's going to keep you from making mistakes. You don't want to make mistakes and, you know, gouge up somebody's guitar, ruin their fretboard, or anything like that. And I'm just looking at the fretboard for cracks here. It looks pretty good. I don't see really any issues with it. So, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to hit it with this next fret eraser. Yeah, this is a really fine grit here. I can feel that really putting the polish on them. So, now I'm not using a ton of pressure on these, but I am pushing down a little bit. You know, if you push down too hard, you're not going to be able to make the motion back and forth anyway. They'll just kind of stick on you. They you know, there's resistance there, so you can kind of feel it and get a feel for it after you do it a little bit. And as soon as you see the shine come on the crown, that's enough. You know, you don't have to go any more than that. Just make the very top of the fret shine. That's it. Okay, so I'll give them the fingernail test. That really feels great. Okay, so the nut did pop out, so we will put that back in. I'll just put a little touch of super glue on it, and we'll get it glued back in. It was okay, I'm guessing, so I'm not worried about gluing it. Now, I just put a little drop on the front side. You can do it on the bottom in this. This is, you know, this is cut in. This sets in a slot. And usually what you have to do is kind of heat these up and tap them out. But I'm just going to put one drop right on the face of this. And that's it. And I'm going to wipe a little bit of that off. My finger, yep, there we go. And just kind of center it in there. And that feels pretty good. Okay, so we got that glued back in. I'm just using some, just got some of this today, Walgreens brand, super glue, liquid. It's really thin viscosity super glue, and it was pretty cheap. I think I paid like $5 for that bottle. It wasn't bad, so there's another little tip for you guys. Okay. Yeah, we're going to call that good on the frets. And I think now we are ready to bolt the neck back on the guitar. So we'll do that and throw a set of strings on her. And we'll see if our repair work's going to hold up. So we might as well get right to it, guys. Okay, here's the body. I got to pick a few tools up off the bench here, so we ain't getting stuff scratched and dinged. The workbench gets messy really fast, I know that. All right, so it sits in there nice. We'll get the neck plate and the neck bolts out. Let me see. I guess these two shiny new ones are not the ones that go to this guitar, because oh yeah, I remember what them go to now. Sorry about that, guys. I got some stuff, screws got kind of thrown in the same tray. All right, so we are going to hold the neck just kind of like this for now. And I usually like to try to get a couple cross corners in there just to hold it. Okay, now I'm not cranking these right down super tight yet. I'm gonna though in a minute, and just make sure they're not stripped, because this did really pull hard on the holes where these screws are going into. Now that's the one where I just repaired. That one in really tight, so I cranked it in, and that one felt good, so I think we're going to be okay. I mean, luckily, where this broke, we have four screws that are actually going down through the brake itself, too, so kind of sandwiching it together with the force of the screws, so it's not gonna hurt. It's gonna help. So nope, that one's stripped. Okay, so we're gonna take care of that in a second. I'll show you how in just a second. Pretty easy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take a toothpick here. And I got to find something to cut it with. Okay, I'm just going to cut this in half. Okay. And we drop a piece of the toothpick in. Put the screw right in behind it. No glue either. I'm not gluing this. I'm just going to screw this back in. You don't need to glue them. This will hold as good as anything. Do this all the time. No glue. There you go. Now, I do the same move on, you know, when you take your pick guard off your guitar and the holes are always stripped. Just cut a little piece of toothpick, drop it in the hole, and no glue, just put it in there. That's all you got to do. Okay, so I'm gonna put a piece in this one as well. These two holes were kind of egg-shaped or oblong from where the neck pulled out. These ones got filled with glue and re-glued when I glued the broken part back together, so I'm not worried about them ones, and they went in really tight. I'm not even gonna do a dry run on this one. I'm just gonna put a piece of toothpick in like I just did, and then I know it's not gonna be stripped. There we go. Alright, so I'm just gonna go around all of them again. You want your neck bolts tight. You gotta have this stuff tight. I had a friend stop by yesterday. A guy I went to school with, the same age, and known him all my life, and he just started playing guitar about a month ago, and he brought an electric guitar that he had purchased somewhere and wanted me to just kind of take a look at it. And the first thing I did, it was pretty much new. It was a nice Telecaster with an F-hole. I went around, it wasn't a Fender, but it was still a really nice guitar, and he got a good buy on it. I went around the whole guitar and tightened every screw on it, at least a half turn, every one of them. The neck, the bridge, the pick guard, everything was loose, and that's how they do it at the factories. But okay, so what I'm looking at now, I'm just trying to look at the neck joint here. There is a little bit of a gap, okay, up here. Now, I have guitars that, sometimes the pockets don't fit well, and that kind of thing will happen. So, I'll probably just put a pick in there, and we won't worry about it too much. Just trying to find my straight edge, but I guess I don't have it right here. We're going to know when we string it up, you know, if it's lined up, but what I will do sometimes is run a straight edge or even just a piece of string. Just take a string out of the package and, you know, center it in the saddle and then center it in the nut slot. Pull it out across the fretboard and make sure it's not on some weird angle and the string's running off the fretboard. I don't think that's the case here. I think that gap was probably like that. And the reason I say that is this. The way it fits in the neck pocket here is nice, and the way it fits the pick guard is, you know, exactly the way that it was. So I'm guessing it probably did have a gap there. I mean, this guitar's been broke and cracked. It's been cracked on each side of the neck pocket. Stuff is moved, you know, so. But I think we're going to be in good shape here now. So I think what we're going to do here is get some strings out. And we'll throw a set of strings on it and see if our work's going to hold. All right. So we got some Dunlops here. These are 10 through 46. The owner said he didn't have any preference. He said 9s, 10s, or 11s. So I figured I'd at least try to meet him in the middle. So I'm going to throw some 10s on it. That kind of struck me as funny. A lot of guys are really, you know, set in their ways on string gauges. I bounce back, you know, and forth between 10 gauge and 9s. Usually 9 through 46. I like those. I don't mind the 942s either. And honestly, it depends on the guitar. Some guitars I'll play with 10s, you know, and some guitars play hard for me when they, you know, with 10s on them. So sometimes I'll use 9s instead. Short scale guitars, you know, shorter scales like the Mustang and those types of guitars, I will use sometimes heavier strings like, you know, 10 gauge on those ones, just because they play easy anyway, and I don't want them to feel like 8s or something, you know what I mean? So I do run 10s on them, but normally it's 9 through 42s, which I played most of my career. And then recently, probably 10 years ago, I started playing 9 through 46, which I like those as well. I like the heavy bottom and the light top, but, you know, again, it's guitar to guitar with me, honestly. I see they do make some 9.5s. I've never tried those. Those are the turbo slinkies. Is that what those are? I can't remember. You guys probably know, but they make 9.5 through 46, I think, 52. I think they're 46s. I actually can't remember, but I'd try them. I you know, 9.5. I think would be a pretty cool gauge. You know, we're talking thousandths of an inch here, folks. It's weird, but your fingers can tell the difference between a 9, a 9.5, a 10. It's just how it is. Okay, well, we're moving right along, folks. Let me see. I gotta find my string winder. I'm gonna take you guys out of there so we can get a different view, okay? Yeah, how's that, folks? A little better. We won't be too much longer anyway, but I wished I was better at my films, but it's just me, you know. I have to work and do this stuff and try to make it at least interesting for you guys too, and hopefully that's happening. I know a lot of people just like watching the channel just to relax and, you know, chill out for a few minutes and listen to me yak and blab, but hey, if that's what it is, I'm happy that you guys enjoy that too. Okay, so we got a 13. That will be a B. All right. I thought I got lucky there that time, but man, it was when I was young. I'm sure you guys remember this. You could restring a guitar without reading glasses, and you know, sometimes now if I don't have my reading glasses, it takes me 10 minutes just to get the string started through the tuner. I mean, the perils of getting old, folks. No fun. I hate wearing reading glasses, to be honest with you. I just despise it, but I can't function without them. You guys know the deal. They bother my eyes, really, honestly. That's why I don't care for them. I get a headache if I wear them too long, so I try to sneak by without using them if I can. Okay, so what do we have? What was that? 26. It's going to be the D. And we should have a G somewhere. 17. There we go. Okay. Well, let's get the D on it. Well, so far so good, folks. I ain't heard any weird creaking or breaks in the neck, so I think we're going to be in good shape. Hopefully, like I said, I've never had the pleasure of repairing one of these, so usually it's the headstock, you know, but Fender, you don't see a lot of Fender headstock breaks, really, honestly. I've dropped a few of mine on the floor, and I don't know how they held together, but they did. Never broke anything, but the heel, I guess, is the biggest problem, and you know, the culprit's when the strap lock, when your strap comes off, that's, you know, usually the downfall. Now, just looking down the neck, the string pull looks really straight and nice. That's a good sign. So I will probably stick a guitar pick in the in on each side, whatever I got to jam in there, just to keep it from moving. You know, sometimes it has to be done. I have some guitars that have the same thing. You know, it just keeps them from moving, that's all. You can cut the picks off so you don't see them too. It's not a big deal, but that way you don't have to worry about the neck moving side to side and that kind of thing. So, all right, this is the last one, folks, and then we'll bring her up to pitch and see what's going on here. Hopefully it doesn't blow apart and just make a bunch of toothpicks on the floor, but I'm not too nervous about it, as you can probably tell by the tone of my voice. I don't get too nervous about stuff anymore, guys. I gave up on it a long time ago. It's hard not to sometimes, you know, but it never helps the cause ever. It just makes things so much worse. All right, I'll cut that one off. Get rid of the mess here. I gotta clean the bench up tomorrow. It's gonna be a big day. It's the same deal. Every time I fix something, I get more tools out than I do jobs sometimes. Okay, so I'm gonna just bring this up to pitch. I don't have a tuner right down here either. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm just gonna wing it. Really all I'm after here anyway. I just want to put a strain on this overnight and see what happens. Which, you know, if it's going to hold it, if you tune it up to pitch and it holds it, you're probably good to go anyway. Wow, that was luck. Did you guys see that? I mean, those were all pretty close. I know it may not be up to pitch, but I almost got the strings tuned just by accident. All right, well, let's take a peek. Everything looks good. Yeah, nothing moving, nothing creaking, no cracking. So we're gonna put a check next to the box that says finished on this one. The only thing I got left to do, I do need to drill a new hole. I plugged the other hole that caused the whole accident to begin with. It was, you know, pulled out. So we'll put a new hole in there and put a proper strap button on. And this one's ready to rock. Okay, guys, well, tomorrow, I'm going to let this sit for tonight. And tomorrow, I'll shoot another video. And I'm going to plug this into that little amplifier that I fixed and show you guys that. And that will be the conclusion to this little catastrophe that we fixed. Come out pretty good. It really did. I'm happy with the result. I'm sure the owner is going to be too. It did have a bunch of dents in the back of the neck as well, and I steamed some of them out with a soldering iron and a damp cloth. I didn't video it, but there's plenty of videos out there on that too. It works good. You know, now it feels a lot better in your hand. It's a lot smoother, and I'm sure he's going to be happy with that. Okay, guys, thanks again. I know this was kind of a long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for taking the time to check out my videos and my channel. It means a lot, and we'll see you tomorrow, I guess, is what I was trying to say. I just couldn't get it out. I've been talking for 55 minutes almost straight, so. Okay, guys, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Be good. Okie doke.